Morning. Good morning. I'm very grateful to be here this morning. I want to thank Bellwood Mayor Andre Harvey for hosting us. Carissa Suarez Del Real is representing Senator Durbin's office. Alan Melser is here. He's the U.S. EPA Region 5 Manager of Redevelopment Programs and Services. Commissioner Degnen and Commissioner Brandon Johnson are with us. Deb Stone, who's Director of the Cook County Department of Environment and Sustainability. Earl Manning, who's Director of Cook County Department of Capital Planning. Crystal Overton, who is from Congressman Davis's office. And I believe Tanya Anthony, our Bureau Chief of Administration, is here as well. Thank you, Tanya. And all the other staff people who are here, who I won't name. But thank you all for joining us. Today we're standing on the top of a brownfield site, a location that was once a gas station, vacant since the mid-1990s. This site is situated along a major gateway to the village of Bellwood's western limits. The county's Brownfield program assessed and remediated this land, making it safe and usable once again. Our program laid the foundation for the construction of 2 beautiful single-family homes, which you see behind you. Abandoned factories, vacant lots used as dumping grounds, we've seen them all. These are what we call brownfields. Abandoned or underutilized industrial and commercial properties with actual or perceived contamination that prevents redevelopment. To clean up these sites and make them usable once again, I'm announcing $10 million to expand the county's Neighborhood Revitalization Brownfield Remediation program. This program will assess and remediate contaminated brownfield sites in suburban Cook County to promote growth, economic development, redevelopment of businesses, housing, parks, and other beneficial uses to help traditionally underserved communities. This announcement comes at the same time the county is hosting our fourth annual Racial Equity Week. And this year's theme is Many People, One Goal. And it reflects the breadth and depth of the county's diverse residents and the desire for a thriving, safe, and just county for all of us. Brownfield sites are disproportionately concentrated in black and brown communities. And recent studies have indicated that areas with elevated pollution have populations with increased susceptibility to COVID-19. So the more polluted your community is, the more challenges you have with the pandemic. Brownfield sites also deter development and can decrease property values. Remediating these sites help address these issues and spur needed development. The county is funding the Brownfield Revitalization Remediation Program with American Rescue Act, we call it ARPA, dollars. This funding allows the Cook County Department of Environment and Sustainability to expand access and increase the number of sites remediated through its Brownfield programs across Cook County's suburbs, especially on the south and west sides. Priority will be given to sites in traditionally underserved communities. This program will also include the removal of asbestos and the demolition of abandoned or unwanted structures. Cook County's plan of using ARPA funds to respond to the pandemic and spur our economy is grounded in our core values of equity, engagement, and excellence. Cook County continues to use an equity lens as well as robust feedback from community engagement to guide its funding and promote equity across the county. I'm grateful to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for the grants they've awarded to our county over the last decade, which are invaluable to our Brownfield program and were utilized to remediate this site. I'm also excited that we're able to expand this work many-fold because of our commitment to our communities and our environment, allowing us to bring the type of benefits you see here today to many sites and communities throughout Cook County. Now, I would like to introduce Bellwood Mayor Andre Harvey, and I would ask each of our speakers to introduce the person who follows them. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Bellwood. I would like to thank everyone for coming out this morning, and I wanted to have a special thanks to, first, Madam President Tony Preckwinkle and her entire staff, and I have to also thank my commissioner, Brandon Johnson, for being here today. I'd like to thank Danny Davis, his representative. I know Danny's in Washington right now, but he sent a representative because he wanted to be here himself. So thank you all for coming. The members of the Revolving Loan Fund for Brownfield Remediation Coalition that voted to approve our application to remediate this site, I want to thank you, because without you, we couldn't do this. This is transforming development here. Could you imagine this being a vacant site for the last 30 years? And we needed the county to partner with us in order to get this project done. The coalition includes members from the village of Bellwood, Chicago Heights, Ford Heights, Franklin Park, Maywood, Sauk Village, and Schiller Park. Without the funds, we would not be standing here today in front of these two fantastic, beautiful homes. This is number 24 and 25 for the village of Bellwood in our Bellwood New Single Family Resident Initiative. We build and sell homes here in Bellwood. I know you'd like to get your hands on these two, but they're already sold. But don't worry, we got more homes to be built. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my staff, Tanita LaShore, Eric Sweeney, and Peter Cholis, for working with the county and the coalition to secure these funds. President Preckwinkle, thank you once again for working closely with us to consistently improve our village. We couldn't do it without the county, and we really want to thank the president and our commissioner, Brandon Johnson, for always being there to support the village of Bellwood. This is one of our gateways into the community, and our gateway just got even better. And this kind of development increases the property values for the homeowners in Bellwood. As I stated, this is number 24 and 25 that Village of Bellwood has been building. We like to thank Mike Feligario, who is our project manager and our builder on our homes, but we got more to come. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Bridget Degnen, Commissioner of 12th District and Vice Chair of the Environmental and Sustainability Committee. Thank you.
So my last name is only 6 letters, but it is very difficult to pronounce. So again, thank you to President Preckwinkle for having me here today. I'm Bridget Degnen. I'm the County Commissioner for the 12th District, which covers about half of Chicago's north and northwest side. And I'm overjoyed to be here today to celebrate the county's $10 million investment of its ARPA funds in Brownfield redevelopment. So when you think about it, the phrase Brownfield remediation or redevelopment may not sound like the most thrilling phrase to some, but the benefits of these projects are truly remarkable. They're the perfect example of how economic development and environmental initiatives can be mutually beneficial. We all know that brownfield redevelopment projects prevents the continued environmental degradation of a site that would happen but for this work. But a series of recent studies have found that cleaning up brownfield properties like these lead to residential property values increasing between 5 and 15% within 1.25 miles of these sites. And it provides an estimated $29 to $97 million in additional tax revenue for local governments in a single year after the cleanup. If that's not exciting enough, studies also show that because brownfield sites tend to be located in centralized areas like this, residents living on or near redeveloped brownfield sites are likely to drive much less, resulting in about 8 to 10% fewer vehicle miles traveled per capita per day than if they lived on a non-brownfield location. This improves air quality locally, and it helps reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. The site we are standing on now that was just redeveloped into single-family homes is a perfect example of this. Benefits like these show that this ARPA allocation is truly an investment in our community and in our future. It's the highest and best use of these funds because of the immediate and collateral benefits that we all see. It shows that the county is working smart and not just hard. So thank you again so much for being here today. As an environmental engineer and as an environmental lawyer, I can't imagine being anywhere other than this today, and I'm so happy to see everyone. So our next speaker is a colleague of mine, Brandon Johnson. He's the commissioner of the 1st District, and here he is.
Thank you and good morning. Again, my name is Brandon Johnson. I am proud to represent the 1st District of Cook County, which obviously encompasses this very community, Bellwood, the western suburbs, and of course the west side of Chicago. I do want to thank our President Preckwinkle, for her leadership and her commitment to economic justice. And of course, my colleague who is here, Commissioner Degnen, along with Commissioner Deere, who chair and vice chair this important environment and sustainability committee. Of course, this work would not be done without the leadership of Mayor Andre Harvey, who has been a true brother and a true friend to me personally, and a remarkable example of what leadership needs to look like. For generations, and of course still today, our black and brown communities have been dumping grounds for toxic waste, pollution that makes water unsafe to drink and air unfit to breathe. We have seen how other neighborhoods are able to push back against polluters while they demand clean air and clean and safe water. But in low-income communities and communities of color, for too long we've been ignored. The denial of these very basic, essential needs have resulted into higher levels of lung disease and heart disease and cancer in our communities. Some of you may know that my mother died from a very rare heart disease, and I still suffer from asthma today. And I'm grateful for the work of our county health system that was available to me and my family. But I'm also grateful that there is a commitment to addressing climate change and cleaning up these toxic dumping sites. It's one of the ways in which Cook County is demonstrating, as we celebrate Equity Week, that Black lives truly matter. Cook County is not only revitalizing the land that has been deemed unusable, but it's also converting these spaces into safe, affordable housing. This is especially important because we're not just removing the harm. We are replacing it with something good. And this is the effort that people have come to expect from government, what every level of government is coming together collectively to solve the systemic problems that we've had for generations. And so again, for all of you who have labored to make this day possible, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm happy to bring to us now the U.S. EPA Region 5 Manager of the Redevelopment and Program Service Branch. That's a nice, healthy title. Alan Melser. Alan?
Thank you. Okay. Well, first I'd like to thank President Preckwinkle for inviting me to speak today on behalf of the United States Environmental Protection Agency. We at EPA applaud the county's decision to utilize $10 million from the American Rescue Plan Act to strengthen and enhance the Brownfields program in the county. This work is making a visible difference in communities. This work has very real social impacts. Communities big and small, dealing with any number of issues including environmental justice concerns and legacy industrial pollution, have benefited from having contamination and blight cleaned up and removed. In addition, cleaning up properties like this one fundamentally reshapes the real estate market by demonstrating the value in once contaminated properties and inspiring tremendous private investment to clean up more sites across the country. Since 2012, EPA Region 5 Brownfield grantees have assessed over 4,800 properties, cleaned up 230 properties, and made over 1,800 properties ready for reuse. As a result, over $4.8 billion was leveraged and 30,000 jobs were created, once again demonstrating that environmental improvement and economic improvement can go hand in hand. And we have done this with our partners. Cook County and EPA's Brownfield partnership extends over the last 25 years, all the way back to a 1997 pilot collaboration that preceded the National Brownfield Program. The county has used EPA financial assistance along with county funds to investigate dozens of properties, clearing many of these for reuse, such as the site where we meet here today. The environmental work at these sites has opened the door for millions in private investment, like the residential development being completed here, while also creating over 600 jobs. Looking ahead, though, there is much still to be excited about. In addition to funds from the American Rescue Plan Act that are being used for brownfield redevelopment, President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law is investing an additional $1.5 billion in grants for the Brownfields program over the next 5 years. The new funds will assist underserved communities with more grants than ever before. EPA and the rest of the federal government look forward to continuing working with our partners, including Cook County, on more successful projects like this one and around the rest of the country. Thank you. And now I'd like to, Now I'd like to introduce Deb Stone, Director of the county's Department of Environment and Sustainability and Chief Sustainability Officer.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Deborah Stone, Director of the Cook County Department of Environment and Sustainability. I'd like to thank Madam President for your leadership on this initiative, Mayor Harvey for hosting us here today, as well as your partnership on this Brownfield remediation project. I'm grateful to Commissioners Degnen and Johnson for your support of our work. And I'm also grateful to have Alan Mercer with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Region 5 and Earl Manning with the county's Department of Capital Planning, who's our partner in this work, with us today. And of course, I have to acknowledge Kevin Schnoes, our department's director, who manages all this brownfield work. He does the work, I get my name on it. Brownfields are an environmental justice issue. About 19% of the U.S. population lives within a mile of these harmful brownfield sites that have received U.S. EPA funding. But 24% of Hispanics and 31% of the nation's black population, as well as 29% of all households below the poverty level, live within a mile of these sites. The Neighborhood Revitalization Brownfield Remediation Program will help to correct this historical injustice. This past work, as was acknowledged, was generously funded through grants from the U.S. EPA, which allowed us to carry out brownfield work in 7 western and 3 south suburban municipalities. Since 2014, the county has assessed over 60 sites, totaling approximately 525 acres of land. Through the new Brownfield Neighborhood Revitalization Brownfield Remediation Program, we are now able to address brownfield sites in all of suburban Cook County. Priority will be given to sites that have a high social vulnerability index rating. This includes factors such as minority and low-income populations. Also, sites that have a high pollution burden because of proximity to hazardous waste facilities, heavy vehicle traffic, and the like. And sites that are supported by their municipality and by their residents and that have potential for redevelopment and job creation. Besides assessing contaminated sites and remediating them, as the President noted, the program will also include the ability to remove asbestos if it's present and demolish abandoned buildings that can pose a safety risk as well as decrease property values. And in addition, our sister agency, the Forest Preserves of Cook County, are partnering with us in this initiative to remediate contaminated sites and demolish derelict structures as they acquire land to create additional green space. So thank you to President Preckwinkle for your leadership in investing ARPA dollars in this important work and for your unwavering support of the environment and of racial equity. For more information and to nominate a site for consideration, please visit our website at cookcountyil.gov/brownfields. Thank you, and I'd now like to introduce Earl Manning, Director of the county's Department of Capital Planning.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day. I'd like to thank President Preckwinkle, honored commissioners, and the Mayor of Harvey for inviting all of us here today. I am the Director of Capital Planning, and I am honored to be able to take the resources that we have in our department to make something as beautiful as this happen. And that partnership is something that means a lot to me. So my speech is very short. I just want to say thank you, and what a beautiful day. And I believe now I am done. I will turn this back over to President Preckwinkle.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we take questions, I want to thank our translator, David Jones, sign language interpreter. All right.
All right, do we have anybody on the line? Yes, I'm on the line. I have questions that are off topic. Okay. Do we have any on-topic questions from reporters that are here?
All right. Here.
All right, go ahead. Okay, this is Ryan Burr with WGN, by the way. President Preckwinkle, Metro has announced possible service interruption if there's a rail worker strike Friday. Is the county preparing for any kind of alternative service, whether it be with buses, or have you been talking with any other transit agencies about a possible disruption, what that would look like and what that could mean?
The county has partnerships with PACE and Metra to support our fair transit plan, but operations of the systems are left to PACE and Metra and CTA. So although we will be supporting them in whatever way they request, the obligation to provide service falls on our transit agencies.
And my only other question is, any idea when a decision will come on the 2024 Democratic National Convention in Chicago? Have you heard anything new?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks, everybody.
We have one question who came in.
Oh, yes? All right, I think that's a Deb Stone question.
I believe the question was, what is the time frame for using the funds? Yeah. So it depends on the site. We will begin talking with communities about potential sites immediately. Pardon me. Investigations can take up from several months to, I'd say, up to a year. At that point, a redevelopment and remediation plan is developed, and remediation also can vary. But this is a 4-year program. The American Rescue Plan program will wrap up by close to the end of, correct me if I'm wrong, 2026. So we look forward to getting going and having all of the funds spent during that time frame.
All right, any further questions? Apparently not. Thank you, everybody.